and welcome back to Napoleon Total War with the Great War Mod. Last time around we managed to secure Novgorod. Now it's time to deal with the sneaky little army that's turned up to siege Riga and try to retake it. It's going to be an interesting battle. They have a lot of artillery. Also, we were looking at trying to cause a counter-revolution. It has not gone too well right now. The proletariat and the bourgeoisie has stopped revolting. I imagine that as possibly because they have exempt the region from tax, they're no longer making any income. So that has temporarily stopped them, but it's only going to make things worse because now they don't get any money from this region. They're already hemorrhaging a lot of money. Or wealth is a bit hemorrhaging from the region. So in the long run, it's not really going to work out for them. I've also moved in. I moved in a cavalry unit. So I moved in this cavalry unit over here. Moved it from my army and sacked their port. So the little trade they were making, they're no longer making. However, as I'm defeating their armies out here, most likely they're gonna get a little bit money back in their coffers. Especially from this army, which has a lot of heavy artillery. Those pieces are not really equivalent to these guys, but these have about 300 upkeep. I think if we look at... Do we have an equivalent gun? I think this is more of an equivalent gun to that. And that has an upkeep of 150. So it could be... It's somewhere around the region of 150 to say 200, I imagine, for these cannons. Maybe more, who knows. But hopefully we'll be able to see a revolution. Or counter-revolution. Just because I kind of want to see what happens. If there is a counter-revolution. And if they turn back. Could be interesting a set of events. But with that said, we're looking at really the last battle. Well, not really the last battle. This will probably be the last battle. But the last major battle, really. Against the Bolsheviks. Beyond this point, it's going to be all out assaults to just finish them off. We're going to partition Russia up into pieces. And then we're going to head to the Western Front and we're going to finalize the defeat of the French. And yes, no more ands, because now we're going to battle. So we're going to get the Archduke and he's going to go in for a flanking attack on this army. He's got about 2,000 men, my enemy, while I bring about 3,700, 800, I think. However, if you look at the balance of power, it's even. It's just slightly in my favor, I think. And a lot of this is because of his massive battery. It's stationary, which means that they're not going to be able to screw it up like the AI usually does. It could be that, I don't know, something might happen that screws it up, but let's not, you know what, I should probably not have said that, because that probably means that something's gonna screw up. With that said, let's go on to the actual battle screen and try to figure out how we're gonna tackle this problem. A pretty standard setup. I've got my artillery in the back, in the center, machine guns kind of in the front, and then a line of infantry going through. The main problem with this battle is that the enemy commander is actually has more stars than me, so I cannot actually see his deployment. So I don't know where his troops are, which is going to make it hard for me to actually conduct a sabotage mission with the Yacht Commando. I think, yeah, it's too close there for me to actually deploy in there. In the back. I can deploy from the flank, though. I wonder which side is better to come at from. To come from the right? Or to come from the left? I think it might be better to come in from the left. So we got the Jagdkommando ready to set up there. I do like to put down bombs, but I think that's not really gonna work out. So I think what we'll do is we'll just use these guys as extra power in the flank attack. Got the tanks over here. Just gonna roll them at the enemy. Not too quick though. Yes. Well, there's not much to it. Let's go ahead and start. Right. I'm gonna go to slow-mo just because I want to see what's going on here. So yeah, all this stationary artillery trained on us. It's gonna start blowing us to shit. All infantry units should advance towards the enemy. So will the tanks. Machine guns will be held back in reserve. Jagdkommando full speed ahead. In on the flank maneuver. I want to see where are enemy artillery shots landing. We've got some in range here. We've got some shots landing over there. Quite a lot landing in this region. At the Kaiserjägen, the Tiroler Kaiserjägen. That's good because they're going into a very thick forest, so that will soak up a lot of that damage. My tanks are speeding straight towards the enemy. We're gonna set them up right there, and they're gonna be just mowing down everyone there. And hopefully they won't be targeted by enemy artillery. Red Army cavalry is moving in. We'll temporarily have to stop our advance here into the flank and open fire upon them. I'm thinking we can actually deploy the engineers in the two buildings. Submachine gunners need to get closer to attack that Red Army cavalry. See, yes, we're within range. The tanks are within range to start pepper the infantry units of the enemy there. And there's no way they're gonna be able to charge them down. Let's see how it's going for the Jagdkommando. Bad angles, bad angles. You need to move forward and you need to get up on the hill. However, now when the submachine gunners are opening fire, we kill that cavalry pretty darn quickly. We'll take a position on either side of that building with the Jagdkommando in support of the engineers who are now moving in. Right, these two should move up here. Good. What is my tanks doing? They're firing towards these cannons, which is good. Maybe you should focus in on the 58th Regiment. Start spraying down these infantry units to an absolute gruesome effect of just mowing them all down within seconds. Red Army cavalry needs to be dealt with. This went a lot more painless than I thought it would. My tanks are just murdering the enemy. I thought their barrage was gonna be a lot more hellish than it actually turned out to be. The advancing units, Kaiser Tiroler Jägen, or whatever, what are they called? The Tiroler Kaiserjägen, didn't even lose more than 50 men or so. Let's advance faster on the enemy, so the Jagdkommando units will hurry up forward. And even so, the enemy is now marching straight towards my infantry units. which are coming into position to shoot them down. We'll just move the tanks forward. I don't want them to clip that side and destroy my own unit. Infantry completely shooting down the enemy, which are getting destroyed all along the line. Their artillery, I guess because a lot of their artillery pieces, we can see them stuck in the forest here, so the I'm still with what I thought was going to be a massive advantage for them. Still with that advantage, they managed to utterly screw it up. And you can see these artillery pieces are all destroyed or dismanned. The general just got shot down. Got a red cavalry unit hiding in the back here. Gonna get set one of the Jagd Commando over there. The other two is gonna move forward. The infantry has cut down the enemy's infantry advance. We're now gonna move forward. Tank are spraying them down in the forest. This is really the last strong point. When this artillery goes, our advantage in terms of numbers and power will be so great that the enemy has to retreat. It's not going to go well for this cavalry unit. For some reason it's just sitting here. Once the submachine gun unit open up on them. And now, first now they decide to leave. And they leave together with the entire enemy army. So I thought this was actually going to be something of a battle. It took 7 minutes to defeat them. In large part due to the poor management of the enemy artillery. The fact that they were not able to use all those heavy artillery pieces in a useful way against us. Absolutely god-awful. But yeah, there we have it. We are victorious, and I guess we'll be able to mop up the entire Soviet faction at this point. Here's the result. So I was definitely expecting me to have much higher casualties. Only 416 men of us lost, while the enemy lost 1870. God awful. Light tank did the most of the job, and then followed by the field guns. The enemy... Oh, aircraft lost. Oh, I had an aircraft in there? He got a nervous twitch after that battle. So he got minus morale. That's not good. And pretty odd for Schuffenschlafen. Maybe I should put these really heavy guns in there. We've got more tanks coming in to join the army. And what else did I bring up here? More Ukrainian infantry. We're definitely done here, and we can push up all the way. We can push them out of the port. We can push up to the border here. Let's see. Bankruptcy must be increasing, I imagine. War awareness should be increasing as well. The thing is, I do not own a port. I own this port. Currently I cannot recruit. I'm not entirely sure if I can recruit any troops even when I take it, or force the enemy out of there. Because we're not going to be able to pass and get to Finland unless we pass through here, which is not going to be possible when they have the navy there. So the other option is to try and ship them across. But currently I have no ports to do that. Right, we're gonna take out the next army, which is this one. close to the Tilsit farm. This should also be a pretty easy one, because these guys have suffered winter attrition, but they've also suffered from just being in enemy land without any kind of reinforcement, and also because of the bankruptcy. I imagine that troops here have been lost just to desertion because they're not paying them. Should be pretty easy. We have 3,000 men against an army of just 1,200. We've got gas cannons, 2 machine guns. Should be over within 5 minutes. I imagine I'm going to be able to take them out almost entirely just using the gas artillery. They've deployed well within reach of my cannons. However, I will not start to fire at them immediately. What I'm going to do is I want them to walk onto my bombs. And that is the start of it. I'll start rolling forward the machine guns. I'm gonna see what they're doing. Looks like they're actually slightly retreating. We're gonna hit their artillery with gas. We'll see what they think about that. If they're moving back like that, I'm gonna move forward. What if I take that house right in front of them? Okay, so we started gassing. Gassed a lot of troops. That's kind of collateral damage of that. I think, looks like most of their army just died of those shots. Perfectly kind of lined up there to lose tons of manpower. And the thing is, I've only been able to... Oh, I think we have silenced all their guns now, actually. Yep, we silenced all their guns. It's quite clear that the enemy is not gonna try and advance. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna send these guys into the house, and we'll just play with the enemy a little bit. Let's get the cavalry forward as well. We've got one unit over there. Where's the other unit? Over there. Actually only one unit can fit inside. The other one's gonna hide. We have to hide on the backside. What is that? Oh, a mortar over there.
We've taken a building, sir.
Right, that has to be dealt with. Cavalry unit will march as fast as possible. Oh, we got some mortars over there. Cavalry will deal with that. So this unit is hiding on the backside. Actually, both these units lost kind of a lot of men. So we'll see how this goes. And there's a fight in between the house and the troops there. I just want to make sure that the cavalry... Oh, there's a machine gun over there. That's bad. However, here should be pretty straightforward. These guys are starting to lose troops. Right now I think it's actually from rifle fire. We'll try to avoid getting these guys slaughtered by the enemy machine gun, which they currently are. While actually quite a lot of troops were lost around the house here. I don't want the gas cannons to hit the guys that are the guys that are attacking the house. So we're gonna hold off on that. Move into better positions within the house to actually return fire on the enemy. The house has lost 30%, which is not too bad. I ordered the gas to fire around there. Oh, there we go. The unit was utterly lost. Cavalry secured this area. And a slow, steady pace, I want you to advance over here. And if the general's in the way, you can shoot him down. Some of the artillery crew survived. Huh. Okay, the gas cannons are now without... They're no longer within range. Gonna have to advance the infantry. Let's see if I can... We'll have to attack that machine gun from the flank. So we'll move up. Try to swing around. I think they're actually retreating. I think the enemy is retreating right now. And they're just covering the retreat with the machine gun and the mortar crew. Let's retreat the troops out of the house before it is destroyed. It's at 60% right now. Would be unnecessary to lose those 2 units just because of that. Let's speed up and see if we can't... it's at 90% now. There's still some Russians here. Most of the units did manage to get out. Cavalry is now within the flank. It's gonna move to attack. Let's see what the other cavalry unit's doing. I forgot to tell it to run, apparently. Sounds like it is firing. But I'm hoping it's actually firing on something else.
Glorious victory, sir, is soon to be yours.
Looks like they're... Oh no, they're retreating, they're retreating. That's what they're doing. And they're gonna be caught off guard by the cavalry. Which is gonna be able to ride up and shoot them down. Come on! Do I have to actually order you to do it? We destroyed the machine guns and killed most of the crew. Alright, if you want to do it like that, I'm gonna shoot you down, you stupid general. All but 2. The actual general and one of his bodyguard. And now only the general. It's a highly decorated general, so let's not shoot him. Let him escape. But there we go, that was that battle. Which I managed to win with the gas cannons. Almost alone. Just getting rid of all the enemy troops within seconds here of firing on the enemy units. Anyways, let's go back to the campaign map then. Here's the result of the battle. We lost 266 men, while the enemy lost 835. 416 still remaining, because the enemy decided, of course, to retreat their troops once they realized the battle was over. Highest kills was the gas cannons or projectors. And we ended the rest of them. He gained mentioned dispatches. Thing is, this guy already has like tons of stars, or at least when he's attacking. So mention in dispatches comes a little bit late. The only real troops that remain, we have a little group of artillery here, but otherwise there's a free passage all the way up to here, and then they've got 2 armies around here. I kind of want to see if I can get them to do a counter-revolution. Otherwise, the last battle will be our assault on Petrograd. Let's go ahead and end turn and see if we can achieve any of those goals. You know what? As much as I would like to actually see a counter-revolution take this over. With the kind of disappointing range of battles we've had here in the end, I think to actually get something pretty good, we'll have to attack Petrograd and actually take it by force. The enemy does have a lot of batteries, and I doubt, while these heavy batteries could be kind of, you know, I could mess them up by placing them in a forest, which soaks up most of the shots. When it comes to the heavy mortars, it's a bit harder, because these guys fire straight up into the sky. And then they have pretty good army still. So I think to actually get a final, like, battle against the enemy, we should advance and attack them. We're gonna bring up everything we have in support, and we'll finalize the victory over the Soviets in this episode. Okay, so they... Oh, there's no way that they can fuck this battle up. And then they did. That's exactly what they did, because they sent forward their flamethrower corps, which is god-awful, and without their artillery, they're nothing. Oh, we'll play it still, though. I can do as... I think I can defeat these guys just by using the Jagdkommando. First video when we get 3 battles, I believe. Would you look at that? The enemy has actually deployed their own combat engineers ahead of my line and actually placed a bomb right over there. Unfortunately for them, I kind of discover them, so they're gonna get absolutely destroyed by machine guns and so on. Most of the shots are actually going into ground. We'll get the tanks to roll forward, because I need that, and all the infantry forward. Also, at some point here I need to... Seeing as though the enemy reinforcements coming from over there, there's where I need to advance the bulk of my force. Start marching them over there. Tank's gonna charge forward. Oh, they're actually running straight towards the machine guns. Wait, where are they? Oh, they're here. Oh! It didn't go too well for them. Trying to use my the same tactic that I've used against them. Let's see how it's going for the Jagdkommando. Oh, the Jagdkommando is running straight into the enemy. That we don't want. Pace yourself a little bit. Tell the artillery to hold fire. Pick new targets. I should never have said anything about the AI. Like, oh, they no way can they, you know, screw up the battle with the heavy mortars like they did the others. And then, of course, they decide to intercept instead. This unit's not really getting the angle on these guys, so we're gonna throw grenades. Most of which land short. But it's enough to push the enemy out in front of this machine gun group instead. And then the flamethrower units are just running straight into our troops. Okay, time for you to stop throwing grenades. Oh, they're gonna... Ooh. They're gonna fire at close range. A bit too close because they shot over my troops. Oh, this one though, that's pretty good. Actually shooting into the flank like that. That's the best scenario the flamethrower unit could have gone. But they were only able to really... Jesus Christ, they were only able to get about 25. Or at least so far. Actually, they go about 30 now. Put yourself in the flank here and shoot them down. And now we're starting to get... Once more that general is taken out. Is there more flames? This combat engineer unit actually lost quite a lot due to the flames. Let's see what we have here. A general flamethrower unit retreating. Looks like the enemy reinforcements setting up around that headquarters over there. Oh, my tanks, I forgot about them. Let's roll them towards the enemy now. And then the rest of the army, which should have been marching already towards the enemy, should continue that. Also, I'm not entirely sure why the heavy artillery is blowing up the forest. Oh, there's a single enemy soldier running there, and they're trying to shoot him down. What I'll do, you know what? Can I get into that house? Yes, I can. We're gonna ride around, we're gonna dismount, we're gonna set up in that house, and we're gonna be able to shoot at the enemy as their reinforcement units come in. The Jagd Commando units draw up a line there with the tanks coming in, sitting up here on the ridge, putting down machine gun fire on all these guys. Looks good. Artillery is out of range for everything. Okay, the cavalry dismount. It's got a really good position there, right behind them. It's going to be able to shoot from up here down upon all the enemy troops moving around. Latvian riflemen, revolutionary sailors. Okay. Wrong way. Run into that house. Enemy steadily advancing. They're steadily advancing though into machine gun death as we've got the tanks coming in. Jagd Commando and engineers and so on. Submachine gunners. We'll move them towards the house region. There's a lot of places where they can hide behind hills and stuff. And if someone tried to charge the house, then we could spring them into action. And weren't there supposed to be... Isn't there supposed to be another... Here comes the general. The second general. Let's make sure that he just moves there so he doesn't move into... let's move forward a little bit into the angle there. The machine gun is opening fire on the tanks. It's gonna spray down all of these snipers and shit. So we've set up within the house. And we're now harassing the enemy from our dug-in position. And we also get the advantage of actually spotting all the enemy units as they move forward here. Flank fire has been tremendous towards the enemy units and are completely cutting them down. They're marching straight towards us. Let's have a little bit of fun. We'll have one of the Ukrainian units. We'll have all of the Ukrainian units, in fact. Light unit, pull back. The two Feldjägers, pull back over there. We'll have a little bit of a melee fight. The enemy broke really quickly there. Tanks, hold fire. You're shooting down our own troops. Shot down tons of the Ukrainians. The enemy is routing. But we lost a lot. One of the Ukrainian units is down to just 65 men. Just because the tank couldn't just fire straight into that and just killed everyone. Let's see, maybe I can get the submachine guns to murder everyone that comes right in there. Okay, let's move forward a little bit. Let the tanks move even further forward. These guys over here. Everybody run. Let's see if we can't win this battle. And take over Petrograd. So Latvian riflemen firing back at us. Not doing that much damage on the Ukrainian infantry. Most of the damage is going to be done by the tanks, which are set up in the flank. Gonna start by mowing down the sailors and then just going through all of this. And just getting rid of all of these guys. Sailors getting absolutely murdered. There's 2 units of trench gunner though. Or there's a unit of trench gunner. And then there's a unit of their own kind of Jagdkommando unit. I want to see the trench gunners in action, but doesn't look like that's gonna happen. They're getting really close to my tanks. I wonder if they would start to shoot those. Hold fire. I want to see. Did I tell this? I told these guys to hold fire. I just want to see a little bit when they fire their shotguns. If they are. Kind of seems like they want to go straight into us. They don't need to be that close, I don't think. Okay, what are they now doing? Are they setting up to... No, they're trying to charge down my tanks. Well, if you try something stupid like that, I'm gonna have to kill you, I'm afraid. And look at the crossfire that's coming in from all just trying to shoot those guys down. They made sure none of those guys survived. No enemies are able to retreat. Or come in, I mean. And it's just... the machine guns here are not doing it. It's just that little flamethrower general unit. Make sure that we get rid of those. Once the tanks get into better positions, we'll be able to annihilate the Latvian riflemen. Just roll up on that, not much of a ridge, but that high ground, and then fire into the flank. Now we're starting to see casualties mount among the Latvians. And really within seconds the unit is entirely annihilated, down to only 2 men, and everyone actually died. The enemy general is retreating. Oh, the machine guns are firing at him, even though I didn't have time to tell them to even fire. And we are victorious. Let's go back to the campaign map, shall we? Here's the statistics of that battle. Enemy lost 1,675 men. We lost 430. We even got a battle, a famous battle after that. God. Defeat! What? Albrecht of Austria died, but that was the new general. Huh. I guess you get to survive a little bit then. War awareness is up to 15, bankruptcy is 12. They get a little bit resistance to foreign occupation, but as soon as I move out... Okay, we'll just have to use the secondary army then to get rid of you. God. Anyways, I think what we'll do here is... Unless there's actually a prominent battle again around Petrograd after this video, we will not showcase this front anymore. Instead, what we'll do is we'll shift our focus over to the French, and next time we start with the French. It's going to be interesting to see, because the French have a lot of modern units. They've got tanks and stuff like that. It's going to be interesting to see how the enemy uses the tanks. Anyways, with that said, ending on this failure, now my commander survived, but a lot of the army was broken down. Still enough so that I got a pretty good chance to fight back if they try to attack. But yeah. With that said, we're gonna end the video right here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye!
Hey, you. You're finally awake.